But we're going to move on to the February 26th show, and it is the Stardom Showcase match. What?
This show.
Okay. I'll admit there's two matches I don't like on this show. We'll get into them. One of them I absolutely just hate. The other one I thought one I hate. One was pointless. We'll get into it. We're gonna start out Saya Iida versus Chanyota. This was an interesting three matches, I guess, if you want to call it that. So we have an arm wrestling contest first. Saya Iida wins the first arm wrestle. Chanyota wins the second, and then
there were 3 rounds for the arm wrestling tournament.
Yeah, so Saya Iida won the first, and then Chanyota won the second too. And then we get into a wrestling match. Again, a lot of power spots. Both women really trying to use to get the upper hand with power, because both women are really showing the way they're built, the way they wrestle. They're power wrestlers, right? Saya getting the speed chops off. Chanyota getting some great slams in here. Both, and then running into each other with the shoulder blocks, really trading that power. Iida getting an attitude adjustment at one point. Chanyota, that headbutt. She had a headbutt, then it's just massive lariat. And then she misses a cross body off the top. Then Iida gets her Iida Bashi roll up and gets the win. I was watching a feed that had that John Bon Jovi's music started playing on the feed I was watching, because I found.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
Oh, was it on the Stardom? Because I watched it from an alternate feed.
Oh, okay.
I was like, they got permission to use John Bon Jovi.
They did
nice.
Not.
Well,
they probably did not.
But if it's being rebroadcast on Stardom-World, they dub over music they're not allowed to rebroadcast.
That's
so
true,
technically, they have to. It's either public domain or something in Japan, because they're broadcasting it.
I wonder if it's public domain then.
It might be. It might
That's
be
an old song.
It might be a song that has the ability to be used in other certain contexts now. But then we get into a pose down that I think Iida got robbed, because
I agree.
I think Iida is far more defined
100%.
than Chanyota. Chanyota's a little bit bigger.
Like what I am now. Iida is what I want to get to.
Yeah, Chanyota is. I'd say her muscles are a little bit bigger than Saya Iida's. But Saya Iida is
way more defined.
Way more, and they gave the win to Chanyota. I'm like, that's bullshit. I literally went, that's bullshit.
I was disappointed with that also. I was disappointed with that very much so also. The gear that Chanyota is wearing, I have questions. Is it color changing in the light, or is it like mood pants? Because I noticed her shin pads, they were the same color as the rest of the outfit at the beginning of the match, specifically the wrestling match. But at the end of the wrestling match, everything was blue. Particularly her bottoms, they were so dark they were pretty much navy, like my lips. And then the shin pads were still pink, but varying degrees of her top were more blue or purple or pink. And I was like, would that be a thermal thing? Maybe.
I don't know shit. I buy all my clothes cheap, so I have no idea.
See, this is what I was thinking about instead of actually watching.
It was a very short match. There wasn't a lot to it. But again, it was a great little segment that did highlight both of these women.
100%.
And then, literally, Chanyota rolls out of the ring and changes gear under the ring into a different top and pants for the pose
it's she was wearing them underneath and just yanked them off,
Yeah, I laughed so hard. I was
and then Iida starts taking off her straps. I was like, whoa, what kind of show are we watching?
I was okay with the show we might have got.
I bet you were. I have to agree with what you said about Iida, though. I felt that her losing the pose off was a little bit of a robbery, because as much as Chanyota is in really, really great shape, in styling of definition, Iida is more defined. Her peaks, also on her biceps there, both of them had the bands to peak up the bicep, but without, when they both removed them, Iida's peaks were still very, very much defined there, whereas with Chanyota, mine kind of disappear a little bit. She's the same as me, so I definitely felt that that Iida probably should have won that match. However, it is a showcase, right? So it is something to show off other people as well. Maybe this was their way of kind of showcasing another person outside of Stardom.
Yeah, I would love to get like a like an actual like judge
Wrestling
that
match.
judges like
Oh,
no,
yeah.
like that judges posing to actually sit there and judges the poses himself.
Yeah.
Just because like I guarantee you an actual pose judge would have picked Ida because again, it's not about your size. A lot of what your
It's about
presentation
tricking
is
them.
is definition. It's
Yeah.
how you're cut, how everything's cut.
And
And
lighting.
Saida's was and lighting, but Saida's was far more cut
Agreed.
than
I mean, you can just see
Chanyota.
that from this picture too. I mean, look at her shoulders.
Yeah, shoulder goals for you definitely.
Shoulder boulders.
Yeah. But we are going to move on to the first match that I hated. I thought this match was absolutely crap. Like, I've seen multiple of these Fall Anywhere Falls matches that have just been absolutely ridiculous stuff. But this, like, how do I say this? This missed the ridiculousness. Like, the last time we saw one of these Stardom Showcase shows, they were riding bicycles in one of the in the 4-way match.
Yeah,
They were throwing powder in each other's faces. They were fighting in a bouncy house, like a ball pit or whatever it was.
They almost did.
Yes, but they got Rossi Ogawa involved. That's where I first went. Okay, I'm like, this is stupid. Why are you involving Rossi? Leave him alone. He's an old man. Just let him book his shows and just leave him alone. That's the first thing that bothered me. And it just everything seems so scattered. There was a spot where they went to the back and just nothing happened for like 2-3 minutes. And I'm like, that's where this match, I was like, I'm done. Like, screw this match. When they all just left, I was like, screw that. Then they all come out with costumes on, or like two of them had headpieces on. The other two had like,
costume.
One had a clown costume. The other one was wearing a baseball jersey.
Yeah, Hanan was wearing a yeah.
I found it so stupid. And the end of this, they go and they fight up onto this giant box. I don't know, our staging set up that.
Yeah, it was a stage. Yeah.
So Azumi slams Hanan on the ground. She goes up top, and Natsu Sumire follows her up. And they fight, and then Natsu goes through the box, and like
you forgot the glitter.
And glitter stuff comes out.
No, so Azumi and her are fighting up there,
Yeah.
and then Momoka comes up with the glitter bomb. The
Oh,
glitter bomb goes
yeah.
off. That's the distraction on Natsu, and then Azumi takes care of Natsu, and she falls randomly through a hole in the box, and everyone's like sitting there like, "What the heck?" Like,
And then
Momoka, bless her heart, is sitting there like, "Oh, there was a hole there."
And then Azumi just jumps off, double stomps Hanan on the floor, who's been laying there for a good 2 minutes, maybe. Like enough time to recover from getting slammed. Like, I've seen girls recover in far less time from far worse, and she's laid there for like 2 minutes or more before getting double stomped off
the concrete floor, though, and there was no matting there. So
yeah, but I've seen worse happen, and girls get up right away. So again, it's suspension disbelief. I understand, but it was so clusterfucky in this match. Everything, it just kept the cameras kept cutting. There was shit happening everywhere. None of it made any sense. And Azumi gets the win. I literally wrote, this match was really shitty. Not due to anybody's work rate. Everybody's work rate was fine when they were doing moves. It was all over the place. There was dumb shit. And the ridiculousness of it wasn't ridiculous enough to make me like it.
I'll just throw some more details of the ridiculousness in here. There was a whip at the beginning that
the cat
out that was
the cat and nine tails?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where she was whipping everybody, including Rossi, and I'm sitting there like, the guy's probably got a pacemaker at this point. This is probably not good for it, lady. Like, leave him alone.
He might like that, though.
But let me tell you, that old man can shuffle pretty quickly for an old man. He was shuffling pretty good, and he was just not even paying attention. He's just like, nope, I'm out of here. And, like, just back turned, like, we're Kenta power walking our way out of the building right now. I really enjoyed that Azumi and everyone else tried to save him, but then inadvertently put him in more danger. It was like a typical anime.
They shoved him in a bounce house.
I mean, realistically, the safest place for him when Whip Lady is running around, right?
Hey, that girl.
Um,
I'm not gonna shame that girl for whatever her kink is. She likes whips. She likes whips. I'm not gonna shame her
I
for
mean,
it.
no, we're not going to shame her about that, but we're getting to it. We're getting to it. For example, her making Azumi cry in the ring, Azumi breaking down, crying, "You hurt my
I don't
feelings." The
think she was
crowd.
actually. I don't think it was real though, because I think she was playing possum and
Obvious.
pretending to
She's sitting
cry.
there going, "Away, away, away." Does this look legit to you, my friend? When a
Yes.
woman's pissed at you, you're gonna know about it. She was not pissed, okay? Well, let's talk about the cringe moment for me of this match
The
when
whole thing.
Natsu put when Natsu put Azumi, Momoka, and then Hanan down in the corner and proceeded to what I initially thought was going to be a Bronco Buster, and I have changed it to a Bronco Muffer because there's no way. What did she literally took that thing to climax, you guys. She shoved her face in Hanan's face, who is
No,
also
her
underage.
crotch, not her face. No, Hanan is 18.
That
Hanan's
doesn't mean
18.
that's legal there, my
It does
friend.
actually.
Look
It
up
means you're an adult. It doesn't mean
the.
you're an
She
adult.
put her hoo-ha in Hanan's faha and like gyrated until she was done with her, which was uncomfortable for me to watch.
Didn't bother me any.
Especially because she was really giving her on the last two thrusts there. I was really uncomfortable with that one. This was in the moment when they disappeared into the back and reemerged in another area with their costumes and everything. I don't know if you saw this. Maybe you were too frustrated to see it at this point. But when everyone came out, like Azumi was complaining for a bit, and then she started beating up on Hanan and Natsu, and then Momoka came out into the back, and she was just like looking around, like just happy to be a part of everything. And then Hanan eventually got up. But what the moment I'm talking about is when Momoka, they had cut to a shot of Momoka, and she's just standing there like this in the camera. The hat on her head. I'm like, girl, you do know you're in a match, right? At that moment was when Hanan, attacked her and we were back in a match. But yeah, the ref getting hit by the fans that Azumi had brought out initially was absolutely hilarious. But then the sidewalk slam that Momoka ended up finding herself in because of it was equally hilarious. Yeah, and then we went into the glitter hole stomp thing. Was this a wrestling match?
No, it was a
Not really.
clusterfuck.
No. Was it fun?
No.
For me, it was until we got to the gyration in the face.
I
Everything
just
up until that and after that was hilarious and something that I would rather watch live than some of the clusterfucks that we have. But
no.
in regard, yeah, when you can sit there and have a conversation with a wrestler who's just sitting there on the outside enjoying the match with you as much as you're enjoying it when he's supposed to be in it, that's probably not a good clusterfuck. That's just a clusterfuck. This was a clusterfuck, but it was funny fuckery in a way that it was better than the thumb bum spot.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it. It wasn't
Okay.
awful for me. I actually enjoyed it, and I found the weird shit in it to be
Like
weird enough that it
there was
wasn't uncomfortable, except for the Bronco Buster,
there was
Bronco
some
Muffer. Sorry.
funny weird shit, but just how everything flowed together was just a giant mess of crap that took
100%.
me out of it. And as soon as they all left, I was like, "Fuck this match!" Like it was already too everywhere as it was, and then they left, and I'm like, "Oh," and I'm like, all I could think of was the wet T-shirt match.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the girls were in the
That was
back for
cringe.
almost 5 minutes on that one,
And
and
it's like, how long does it take you to take off your bikini top?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and it just felt like more of that shit. But at least like the last time we saw one of these, you had Ram Kaiser with the powder, and you had the bicycles, you had all that weird shit.
Yeah, Starlight Kid.
There was so
Yeah.
much more to it. Where this one was like they tried to do wrestling, but none of it flowed properly. And then when they went to the outside weird shit, they didn't do a lot.
Mm.
I don't know. It just
It was
I
a lot
didn't
more
like.
smiling in the camera when they were on the outside as opposed to like acting and having fun that they could have
Yeah.
done. I do feel that the star of that one was more Natsu. And that was more of her, like kind of the showcase of that match, and the rest of the girls were just kind of there
Oh
to
yeah.
kind of offer
I'm
anything.
all about me some Natsu Sumire. I'm down. I'm down with
You're
some
all about
Natsu.
the cone titties.
I'm down. I'm down with Natsu. I'm down with Natsu. I'll tell you that for sure.